afternoon, everybody. Today is February 8th, and we're continuing. We're in Mesilat Yesharim, Perek Yud Daled, the 14th chapter, and we're making some nice progress. We're in the middle of discussing something called Perishut, which the Ramchal is telling us is, to not overindulge is really the best way to understand it, to separate yourself from things that are unnecessary in this world, things that can cause, a person to sin. So he says, "Hapirishut b'minhagim." We're in this paragraph right here. There we go. "Hapirishut b'minhagim hu hitbodedut, right? V'hahibadel min ha'chevra hamedinit lefanot et libo el ha'avoda v'hitbonenut ba karaui ubitnai shelo yateh bezeh el hakatzeh ha'acher." So he's saying over here is that the way to be poresh in your actions, to be separated, to be a little bit careful with where you're heading, is really to watch your hevra, the people that you're hanging out with, people that are tied to this medinit, which is the medina word, the land, people that are very materialistic, right? And you're not going to have time to think about your obligations in this world when you're busy hanging out with all these guys, right? People that are not on the right path, obviously, on the condition, he says, that you don't go too far, meaning you can't close yourself off from the entire world and become a hermit, right? That's not what he means. Right? A person has to get along with people in this world. You can't just be your own person and do what you want and think what you want and just act, on your own. That's not the purpose of life. But at the same time, the purpose of life is not also to just chill, and hang out with friends, and just whatever, just shoot the breeze all day long. It's not the purpose either, right? Chen amru. Right. Similarly, the rabbis say, "Cherev el abadim v'no'alu." Right. So people who are bad, they're alone. Right. They're no'alu. They're going to become dumb. They're going to lose their intellect. Cherev al sonehem shel talmidei chachamim sheyoshvim bad bebad ve'oskim b'Torah. This pasuk the Gemara brings down, right, is a sort of a curse, almost, I want to say it, to someone who's learning on his own all the time, never involved with anybody, and just locking himself in a room someplace and just learning Torah all day. Even that pasuk applies to him also. That's not the purpose of life. Ela, what should you do? It's haber adam imat tovim. Go, you should have friends, but you have to have the right friends, right? Zman ma shevitztarech lelimudo or the parnasato, you get involved with people that you need to be involved with, to learning partners or teaching partners, right? Or what I need for my sustenance, for my business, right? Those I have to be involved with people. But after that, itboded acharkach lidabek belohav. You have to set aside some time to think about God, which is calling the pure work. The real avodah of God is in your mind. To understand that God is controlling life, God is controlling the world. All that takes time, to really pay attention and to live that way. A person actually needs to stop in the middle of the day and think about it for a little bit. If you're just running on the rat race, on the wheel, running around and around and around and around and around, and around, you're never going to have that time to stop. That's the Yitzhak's favorite thing to do. Keep you busy. Don't give you time to think. Because when you have time to think, you start to realize that everything we see around us is false. It's all there as part of a test, part of our, and not to say we can't enjoy the world. Of course, we're obligated to enjoy the world. We have to make blessings to enjoy the world, but we need to recognize that what's here in the world is for us and for our benefit in order for us to worship God the right way. So that's something we need to keep in our mind. And the only way to get there is to stop in the middle of the day and think about it. It really is. There's no other way. And therefore he says, Bichlal zeh lema'et b'diburo. You have to speak, speak just a little bit. Don't talk too much. Too much haki balash, not good. Listen, a guy needs friends, 100%. Nobody can live alone. You need to have friends. And shoot the breeze, that's okay. The problem is when you get into, that's the main purpose. That's all you want to do. That's where you have a problem. שלא להסתכל חוץ מארבע אמותיו וכל כיוצא בזה, מן העניינים שאדם מרגיל את עצמו בהם, עד שנשארים לו בטבע אל תנועותיו. Because what happens is, you're going to start to do this too much, it's going to become second nature. That's all you're going to want to do all day. You want to chill, you want to hang out, you don't want to joke around all day, and then you miss the whole boat. Okay? והנה, says שלושת החלקים האלה, these three parts, אף על פי שאמרתים לך בכללים קצרים, I'm only really giving you the headers, says the Ramchal. Right? There's many different actions of like in your daily life that this would apply to. I told you the details exact. It's impossible for me to write all the details of everything because really every person is different. Okay? I'm just pointing out to you the truths, the inherent truths that are here, and every person needs to make their decision on their own. How much time can I dedicate to X, and how much time can I dedicate to Y, and how much time can I dedicate to Z? And once I got there, I must carve out some time in there for learning, both textual-based learning and thinking about just, pause and a little contemplation about what I'm doing in this world. Why and what did God give me these tools that he gave me? What am I trying to do? What's my purpose? So all that is part of the requirement of Avodat Hashem. And that's what he's pointing out to, because the way to get there is to open your brain and to think about it. So he's going to tell us now, how do I acquire this level? He says, the way to acquire this idea of when I say pirishut, separation, right? Of a little bit of contemplation, you want to say, thinking about things, separating from this world so much. You look at the enjoyments in this world that are out there, and you realize how bad they really are. Meaning they're lacking. That's the right word from giriut. It's lacking. They really don't have a lot of value at all. And the outcome of actually acquiring those things, right, is actually worse than actually just thinking about them. He says, I give examples. Right? Plug in whatever desire it is, but this pleasure that you're looking for, this enjoyment that the person is looking for, each guy on his own level, to get out of it, right? It's very difficult once you've gotten used to it and you want it. It's almost like a person's getting addicted, right? And very difficult to get out. So the problem number one is your eyes. Your eyes see things, they want them. They look beautiful, and it looks, wow, I gotta have that. Right? Vehu tov, it's good. Arev, it's sweet. It's very good. L'chora. That's what it looks like from the outside. It looks like it's great. It's something that I must acquire. Oh, I gotta get that item. Oh my gosh. All right. Hu hapitui shegaram l'chet harishon. That your eyes. That was chavasen. She'aseh ke'edut hakatuv. The Torah says it openly. Vatera ha'isha havaso kitov ha'etz l'ma'achal. It says tera. She saw. Right? It was desirous to her eyes. We give her knowledge. But what did it start with? She saw, and that was the beginning of the problem. She saw it, she desired it. And therefore, the eyes is the first problem when it comes to trying to separate, right, from worldly things that we shouldn't be trying to run after. Your eyes. Right? Once a person realizes, once a person realizes, it's barur to him, it's clear that which he thought was good and he wanted it and he desired it is an absolute lie. Absolute lie. It's an imagination. You build it up in your head that it's so good, you got to get it. Right? The bad part of it, the negative part of it, amiti, right? Either it's really bad or it's going to lead to something bad. That part, if you realize that, right, that this desire is a temporary fix, and really the outcome of what you're going for is actually going to be bad for you, right? Then you're going to get disgusted from it. You're wasting time. You need to train your brain to recognize the weakness of this pleasure, how weak it is, how it's not really pleasurable, and how it's lying to you by forcing you to desire it. All that you need to train yourself to figure out. And he's going to give you examples of how to do it. right, if you train yourself properly, what's going to happen is you yourself will become disgusted from the item. You're not going to want it, right? You'll have no problem sending it away, getting rid of it, losing it, not even running after it. All that will not be a problem once you realize that the desire is a mirage. It's not real, because the item that you think you want is not going to get you that pleasure that you want. How? He says, I'll give you an example. Hine, easiest example to understand. Hine, ta'anuga ma'achal, food. You get this, right? Hu hayoter muhash umurgash. That one is the most common and the one that you can read, you can understand the easiest. He says, Hayesh davar aved v'nefsad yoter mimenu. Is there something that you're going to lose, right? More than that? You went out and you got this crazy piece of steak, gorgeous, beautiful, looks so good in the butcher. You spent $250 for one steak and you put it on the table and now you start to eat it. Great. Even if it tastes great, no problem. It was delicious. Great. How long did it last exactly? 10 minutes? Guess what? Not even 10 minutes, because you can only taste it in your mouth. The minute you swallowed it, the taste is gone. Okay. So it lasted a few minutes that you chewed on it. Okay. So he says, the amount of enjoyment in that food, the time it took to get down into your throat. Once you left your mouth into your esophagus, right? It got down into your stomach. You don't taste it when it's in your belly anymore, right? It's gone. Right? And you got very full. Great. You spent $250 to get full. Okay. Aval, right? He says that would be great. But achal barburim avusim. Let's say he gives an example of what do you call the goose liver? We got pate. What do they call that? Fattened. The barburim avusim is the geese that they force feed. Okay, and you get that nice fatty liver. Kimo im achal. All right, I would get just as full if I ate. What are the foie gras? That's what it's called, foie gras. Right? If I ate foie gras, right, or I ate lechem kibar, or I ate, whatever, pumpkin. So what do you call that? Ezekiel bread, yeah, faham bread. All that Ezekiel. I ate Ezekiel bread, or I ate foie gras. One cost $250 an ounce, and the other one cost $6 for the whole box, for the whole package, right? So I had 2 slices of bread, cost me 12 cents, right? And what, at the end of the day, I'm full from both. Okay, so if I ate the amount to fill me up, that's it. But at the end of the day, I'm full, I'm satisfied. So do I have to eat the $250 foie gras? Now let's multiply that. Take that foie gras, let's turn it into, I don't know, something deep fried, fatty, bad for you type of thing, right? And you're going to start to think about, well, okay, it's delicious when I'm eating it, it's great. But the second later I swallowed it, and now the outcome of that is disastrous for my health. Many kinds of sicknesses, not anybody. Right? What about the tiredness that you feel after when you're full? Right? You have a heavy meal in the middle of the day, you gotta fall asleep, so now your brain starts to shut down because you're tired. Can't think clearly, right? Right? That's the food, that feeling that you get tired afterwards, and when you're full, it's sichlo, and now you can't think clearly anymore. Why would anybody want that, right? Because really the good is not so good. It's very short-lived. And the outcome is much worse than the enjoyment you're going to get. And this one is tough for a lot of people, because especially me, I'm a foodie. I love food, right? But the truth is, once you start to think about what he's telling you over here, that, you know what? Yeah, it's going to taste great when it's in your mouth. It's going to taste great going down. But then what? For a few minutes, and then what? Then you got to worry about, God forbid, health issues. Not on anybody. Come on. He says the same. You could take this equation, plug it into any pleasure in the world that you want, whatever it is. Okay, that way, I guess a pleasure that's not allowed, obviously. So okay, fine. Even that's necessarily true. Even it could be even things that are allowed. It's just not to overindulge, right? So things that we would call, they're requirements. They're luxury things. Even though they they seem like they're great and they could be great, but again, the benefit is short-lived. Right? The downside of it is much harder and much longer. Until you realize it makes no sense to put yourself in that kind of a danger. Just for that little pleasure that I'm going to have, those, 37 seconds of chewing on this delicious item, that's worth all the problems later on. He says, anybody, if they thought about it, will tell you, yes, of course it's true. The problem is to actually implement it, right? Because it just tastes so good. You want to eat it. It tastes good. It's hard. So from a logical perspective, absolutely, you can't argue with the logic. It makes great sense. The question is now, how do we implement this? Because that's really what the goal is. The goal is to get to the point where you can actually change it. And, that takes a lot of work, right? And he's going to tell us how to try to get that now. He says, right? What you need to do is make it normal for you and do it constantly to think about things in this manner that he just pointed out, that the small benefit versus the longer term outcomes that are detrimental. Hine, it comes out. Me'at yetzeh chofshi mima'asar hasichlut asher choshech homer oser oto bo ve'lo yitpateh mipituyei hana'ah kozev klal azim aspahem. So he says, if you start to little by little, he says, me'at yetzeh chofshi mima'asar hasichlut. Right? He's of course he's admitting it's very difficult. How do I get myself? I'm chained by these desires. Little by little, if you start to think about it once a day, something a few seconds before that you eat it, you have a couple of thoughts, little by little, you will start to see that you will yourself will not want to eat those anymore. You're going to see that whatever that desire is, plug in, whatever it is, little by little, it will start to become disgusting to you because you're starting to realize that their worth is not there. That desire is not worth it. It's just not worth it. Azim asbahim. Then you'll be disgusted. And then he'll start to take what he needs from this world and not the things he does not need. Now, okay, right. And the things that he needs, again, it's subjective. Okay, everybody's different on what they need. All right. But did I skip? I skipped the line. Go back. Let's see. I think I skipped some lines here. What happened here? Boom, boom, boom. Did I go the wrong way? Yeah, definitely went the wrong way. Back. Oh, keep going forward. That's why. Okay, I'm pushing the wrong button. Okay, there we are. All right, sorry about that. There we are. Okay, good. If you start to think about this, right, how I want to acquire this level, right, of separation a little bit, of being a little more careful about things that I'm going to run after, right? And you know what happens if you're running after that? You start to think about that. Well, you're what's going to cause you to sin, right? To this idea of the lack of knowing that these desires are really not, what they seem to be. It's all fake. How is that going to, what's going to cause me to realize this? It says, Hatmada ben hasarim v'anshe hagedolot harodfim, right? If it depends on the guys, back to the chavra who you're hanging out with. Harodfim ahara kavod umarbim hevel. Says, if you're stuck in the trap, it's because you're hanging out with the wrong guys. Basically, that's what he's saying, right? You're with people that are running after kavod, they're running after nonsense. If you see that the group of people that you hang around with, that is their focus is on kavod, their focus is on, right, about nonsense, about having a good time all the time, right? So then it's very difficult for you. It's very difficult not to have a desire to be like them too. Even if, let's say, I've been working on myself And I'm learning myself to be able to be careful, to do the right things, to not overindulge, right? But all my friends are not on that level. So he says, well, Al kol panim midei milchama lo yimalet, right? So you may have won the battle, but you can't win the war, right? Because you're still gonna have to put that battle every time you're hanging out with these guys. It's dangerous, right? בעניין זה אמר שלמה, המלך says, טוב ללכת אל בית אבל, should be אבל מלכת אל בית משתה. המלך says, better to go visit somebody lo aleinu that's sitting for a family member than to go to a party. Okay, because at the party again, they say that people are in this frame of mind and that, but Beit Avil is seeing at the end of the day, life is life, and if you don't fix what you got to fix while you're here, well, you're gonna miss the boat. Okay. So he wants to say that one of the best tools to get to this acquisition is what do you call it when you meditation. Hitbodedut. He wants you to be able to meditate, to have some time for yourself. Right? When you remove from your mind, from your head, from your face, from your eyes, you're going to close your eyes, right? You're going to block out all this nonsense in the world. He can remove the desire for them from his heart. David HaMelech mentioned this idea of having time to be alone and to contemplate and to meditate, where he says in Sefer Tehillim, he writes, Mi tenli ever kayona, I wish I could have the wings of a dove. A'ufa ve'eshkona, I will fly and rest. Hine archik nedod, I'll go far away. Alin, I will go sleep, rest, where? Bamidbar, in the desert, by myself. Where you can have time to think when you're alone and wherever people are, everybody needs a little bit of downtime. This downtime is the time that we're working on our thoughts, our inner feelings, our connection to Hashem. Hanaviim Eliyahu ve'Elisha matzanu hayotam miyachadim mekomam al haharim. We see that in the Nevi'im. Where you find Eliyahu Navi? He's on the mountain. Where's Elisha? He's on the mountain, a place where there's not a lot of people. Hachachamim hasidim. Harishonim zichronam levracha halchu beikvotehem. They would follow this idea. Ki matz'u lahem et ze emsa'i yoter muchan leknot shlemut haperishut. They see that this was the best way to acquire this idea of not overindulging. Okay, and they do that by doing meditation, by thinking, so that they would think differently than their friends. They were able to put up, these barriers in their mind that what their friends are doing is not what I want to do, and therefore they were able to do that. Again, you can only do that when you have downtime, when you're not running from place to place all day long, and you have to actually make time to do this. We have to be careful to acquire this level. He says you have to be careful with this one, is not to jump all the way to the end from the beginning. Okay, which means don't cut yourself off absolutely. Don't start. It's a slow process. It's impossible if you're going to cut people off and cut names off. And every time, I'm not going to go out for dinner with this guy. I'm not going to go here. I'm not going to go to the store. I'm not going to go to that wedding. I'm not going to go to this party. That's not what he's talking about. He says you can't do that. Okay, it's impossible. And then you try to do that, and you're just going to falter, and you're going to give up. So you do it step by step, like anything in life. Small baby steps. Hayom yikne kesat mimenu. Today, 3 minutes. I'm going to sit down at my desk. I'm going to set my timer. Hey, Alexa, set timer 3 minutes. Okay. And I'm going to sit there for 3 minutes, and I'm going to think about, whatever, pick it. How things that were overindulging and I want to stop, or things that I'm desiring and I know at the end of the day they're not good for me. Those 3 minutes, that's all. And little by little, maybe next week I'll go to 5 minutes. Right, and then maybe in 2 months from now, there's a real guy that's really a bad influence on me. Maybe I'll reduce my connection with somebody like that. And little by little, right? Ad shitragel bo legabre, so you get used to it. Ki yashuv lo kemo teva, it becomes second nature. Mamash. That's the only way to change. Anybody who tries to change anything about themselves in fell swoops is going to end up faltering. It's just impossible. It's not. We're not built that way. We like routine, and to change your routine is difficult, and therefore it takes little baby steps. Little by little, you take a small baby step, small baby step, small baby step, and then all of a sudden, a couple of years down the road, you turn around. Whoa, I'm a different person. Okay, fine. Okay, midat tahara, biur midat tahara. So we've done perishut, and we're moving into tahara. A person who can reach now the level of perishut can start to work on his level of purity. Tahara is purity. So he says, tahara hu tikun halev ve'amachshavot. That's fixing your brain, your heart, your thoughts, and your heart, your desires. Zeh lashon mitzaunu etzel David she'amar lev tahor berali Elohim, that God created a pure heart within me. The inyana, the idea, shelo yaniach adam makom leyetzer b'ma'asav. Right? We don't leave room for the yetzer hara in your actions. Ela yu kol ma'asav al sada chokhmah ve'hayirah. That all your actions should be infused with intellect, with knowledge and fear. Velo al tzad chet v'ta'ava. Not to be your actions be ruled by sin and desires. This applies even to things that are physical. Even though you're now already on the level of a poresh, someone who's not overindulging, you take only from the world what you need. He still needs to purify his thought process. Right? Even in that little asher hu lokeach, even in that which he is taking from the world, things that he does need, lo yechaven el hana'a ve'ata'ava klal. Right? He shouldn't be paying attention to the desire, even though he needs this item. Ela tiyeh kavanato el hatov hayotze min ha'ma'aseh hahu al sad ha'chokhmah ve'ha'avodah. He should pay attention to, I'm taking this thing because I need it, and therefore if I need it, it makes sense to me because I'm doing the right thing so that I'd be able to worship God properly. Like they used to say about Rabbi Eliezer, shaya megaleh tefach umechaseh tefachayim vedomeh lemi shekafa'o shed. This is Gemara Masechet Nedarim, talks about Rabbi Eliezer when he was having relations with his wife, and a different level for all we can't understand. All he would uncover is a small part of his body, and even when he was doing the having relations with his wife, which was his obligation, he did it out of fear that he was being possessed. That he didn't want to fall trap to the yetzer hara of overindulging in relations. Okay? So it's something that he was very careful with. Okay? Difficult to understand, but that's what he's doing. Shelo nihaya nehene klal. He did not want to derive any benefit from relations. Now, that doesn't mean having benefit from relations with your wife is asur. Absolutely not. It's a mitzvah. Okay, and for him, that was his level of perishut, that he could reach that level. I don't know if anyone can reach that level nowadays, but the idea was that's something that could be done, and he's using this as an example of how to sort of a look at an action that I'm obligated to do and something that is enjoyable to do, and try to limit the focus on the enjoyment aspect and more focus on the fact that it's an act that's required by mitzvah. It's a mitzvah, right? And that's why I think his point is over here, right? Because it's a commandment to have relations with your wife. You're obligated. Right? In all your actions, all your travels, know God. So it's infuse God into everything that you're doing, and God will put you on the right path. That's what he's saying over here. Okay, and see where we are. I think that's it. That's it for today. We'll wrap up right here, and I wish everybody a beautiful week. And we'll continue on Taf Shin Chayet next Wednesday. Kol Tuv. Bye.